essays that are actually half the book. One is a cultural memoir that tries to explain why I have the opinions that I do based in my life, the experiences of my life. And the other one is a book about the pit bull advocacy movement, which you may think is a rather odd thing, and I dare say I'm the only Jewish lady journalist in Canada that has probably made a specialty of the pit bull advocacy. I think I could say it without fear of rebuttal that I am probably the only person that, or the only Jewish lady columnist anyways. But it's not really about dogs, it's about our culture. And everything in the book is about our culture, one way or the other. And some of these topics in the book are orphan topics, what I call my orphan topics, which is the way men get shafted in the family law system, for example. Nobody cares about men suffering, and that's one of the things that I sort of took under my wing as one of my niche subjects. The pro-life movements, how they get shafted because, you know, they're not politically correct. A lot of the stuff is about what's politically correct and what isn't politically correct, pseudo-learning in our universities and all that. So anyways, I would not have written this book without Tristan's belief in me, and I thank him very much for that. I have other people that I want to acknowledge, and most of them aren't here, but I'm going to acknowledge them anyways. My son Jonathan, who I thought was going to be here, but I think it's probably because of that horrible tragedy in Boston that the newsroom is probably, I'm assuming that, I hope he didn't forget, but anyways, not important at all. But anyways, I'd like to thank Jonathan for being my editor again. As busy as he is, he did edit, but there is somebody here that Wayne K. Spear is here, and he writes for the National Post. And I just knew that he was the right person to send my memoir piece to. He writes so beautifully himself, and I thought he's the right person to tell me, am I getting it right? And he was so helpful and made not a million suggestions, but each one was right on the money and gave me confidence. And it's so much better because of your attention to it. It gave a very attentive reading, and I'm so thrilled about that. I want to thank Rex Murphy, who isn't here, and George Jones, who isn't here, and Michael Bryant, who isn't here, and Peter Stockman, who isn't here for the blurbs, and for Rex for his lovely introduction to the book. Aruna, my fellow writer, my co-writer from our last book, and writing that book was such a fabulous experience. It also gave me confidence to think I could do this one. And so it's all about thanks. Thanks to my friends who came, my family, Ronnie. Thanks to Ronnie because he keeps trying to give my book to people because he thinks it's wonderful, and I keep telling him I don't think the postman really, you know, would be all that interested, but he gives it. I like the impulse behind it. He believed in it, and he was thrilled about the book, and kept telling me to, you know, that's the book you got right after we finished. So my sisters, nothing but encouragement, and my cousins, and you know, Lionel, Helene, and friends in Toronto, and Lena, and we've got people from Quest, thank you, and there's David and Mary. I don't want to name everybody. And also for the people that are here because they're just their friends that I've met through, and Bernadette, my old person. But there's people here that are here simply because they read my writing and they like it, and they've come to say hello, and that's great too. I really appreciate that. So that's really all I wanted to say. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate that you actually bought the book. And oh, here they are. Here they are. Here's Jen and my grandchildren. I also wanted to say, and I'm glad you walked in at this particular moment because what I wanted to say was that this book is written in the year I turned 70. I've been writing for almost, in June, I will have been writing for the Post for 10 years, which I can't believe. This happened to me at a time of my life that I think most people are thinking about retiring, and this is just an amazing second life for me, kind of. I have been so blessed, and that's Acknowledgements has two meanings in this book. One is recognition of ideas that, you know, often aren't written about in the press, but also it's in the sense of gratitude, tremendous gratitude. I've had a life that's been so full of blessings all the way along, and topped off by the fact that I have wonderful children, and I 5 granddaughters, and there's 2 of them right there. So it's all gravy, and they can't take that away from me, is the theme of how I feel today. Thank you all for coming. Sure, if anybody has questions.
So if you have 1 or 2 questions from the floor, if you want to ask Barbara.
Where did you get your scarf?
Oh, it's a story. It's actually a story. But anyway, I'll tell you.
Will you be writing for 10 more years?
You know what? If they let me, and if my little gray cells don't all fall out, half of them have, but if the rest stay in, I will keep writing as long as they allow me to, and as long as I've got something to say.
Because we want to keep reading.
Thank you. That's very kind. I hope I will.
For those of you who are interested, on this Saturday, Barbara will be, she's here for the week, doing various functions, some with Aruna. By the way, if you're interested, the Indigo store here in Eaton Center has a bunch of her books. So if you have friends that are interested and they want to buy it at a bookstore, they've got a bunch there for her. They'll be signed as well there. She'll be speaking this Saturday at the Old Mill Inn. And if you're interested, I've got a flyer that, in fact, I will hand out for all of you. We'd love to. There'll be a bunch of speakers there. Runa will be speaking as well as Bill Gardner and David Soloway. I don't know if those are writers that you're familiar with. And
It's largely a liberal crowd here. They like
David Soloway.
You're our token conservative.
Yeah, I'm their token.
There you go.
Yeah,
Anyways, you know what? This is all big tent thing. You can come and listen to some good conservatives. Anyways, it's all Canadian. Anyways, that's the beautiful part about it. I'll hand that out, and for those of you interested in the book from Brian Lilly, please dump your business card in there, and I'll.
It's actually I read it I read half of it on the plane today, and I had steam coming out of my ears. It was actually a lot of revelations in that book that will people that are interested in public policy. It's CBC exposed. Oh yeah.
Thank you very much for coming out. Please help yourself to the drinks and the snacks and the mingle. We're here till 7. Okay? Thank you.